We're live on YouTube, X, Rumble, about to be live on Rockfin as soon as the go live button becomes clickable. Thank you guys for joining me in this after midnight show. Now live on Rockfin as well. All right, let's dive in. Biden's Truthful Flub, Vice President Tampon, and comics for Kamala Bom. This is the Propaganda Report. I'm Brad Binkley. If you're listening to the show audio only and you want to help support the show, let the ads play through. We don't get any of the money if the ads are skipped, and that's a great way to help us if you aren't a Patreon subscriber. Also, you can leave a 5-star review and a comment that warms my heart because that always helps me very, very much. And I got some PayPal donations in earlier this week, which I appreciate. I'm going to pull those out and thank you guys who donated personally later in the week when I have them on hand. So thank you guys for the continued support, but those are some of the best ways to help out. And share the show with friends of yours who you think would enjoy it. That also helps the show grow. As you know, I hate self-promoting, but I have to keep the show going. So thank you for putting up with that. Let's do the show here. Kamala's VP pick, that's the story. That is the top story of the day. Been the top story of the past couple of days. She picked her running mate. That's it. That's the only thing going on in the world today. She picked a vice presidential mate, and now it's a 2-on-2 battle. Apparently, the duos of Trump and Vance and Kamala and whoever this guy is, Tampon, are crossing paths, and Vance's plane landed at the same time as Kamala's plane in Michigan, and Vance ran over there and tried to gang rape her or something like that. Maybe I'm misremembering the story. We'll get into that specifically, but he shouted her down. I'm foggy on the details. We'll get to that story in a bit, but the surprising news anyway, at least to the media, even though they know, I'm sure, is that she did not pick the Jewish guy. She did not pick Shapiro like the media made it seem like she was going to do. I never thought she was going to pick Shapiro. No, I never thought for a second she was going to pick him because this isn't me saying this. She already has a Jew, and that's Dougie. That's her Jew. You have two Jewish guys on there, and people start talking. That's how you get the South Park episode about the Jews controlling everything and Hollywood and all that. So it was obvious to me that for that reason, for the optics of it, that he wasn't going to be the pick, even though by all accounts he would be a better VP candidate than this weird guy. They're all weird. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to bring, before we continue with the story, I do have a special guest to comment and give insights on the story with us. What's up, JC? Good to see you. I want to welcome to the show former President Trump. Mr. President, thank you for joining me to go through the news and share your thoughts today.
Well, Brad, you caught me on Trump Force One. You know, we're in the middle of flight up here.
You're in the air right now?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're in the air. We're planning for the next big event.
Who all's on the plane?
Everybody. You know, Kid Rock's up here.
Bob,
yeah, old Bob. We love Bob. The guy Frosty the Snowman is there.
That's good. I hope you have a fridge there to keep him icy cool. Mr. President, let's continue with the story here. Then we can find out the rest of the gang who's on the plane up there. I'd love to hear what they're getting into on Trump Force One.
Well, they're great, if you know what I mean, because he's there too.
Yeah, it sounds like
Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger. Very good impersonation.
Tony the Tiger's up here.
Yeah. So JC makes a point that I have similar thoughts here. He says that picking Shapiro would mess up the elite's dialectical strategy. They need to make the Dems seem like the irrational, pro-Hamas anti-Semites, even though they're obviously still pro-Zionist. I agree that Kamala and the Democrats are giving the appearance of being anti-Israel or anti-Bibi, but they're all in Bibi's pocket, really, in my opinion. But the guy that she picked is, what's his name? His name is Tim Walz. He's a Tim Walz, 60-year-old governor of Minnesota who is apparently a plain-speaking socialist from rural America who knows how to speak to conservative voters and is known since yesterday, I think is when this nickname was dubbed, as Tampon Tim. A fantastic nickname, Mr. President. I hope that you do use it when you get the opportunity.
Did I come up with it?
No, I don't think you came up with it. I don't know who came up with it. But he also is a social studies teacher, former social studies teacher. Like,
so wait a minute, he's a socialist though, the conservative socialist.
He doesn't call himself a socialist, but when you look at his record and what he's known for, he is more social. I mean, he's like Bernie Sanders almost in some of his policies. Free college and tampons in the men's bathroom and all the bathrooms and all menstruating rooms. Very much pushing the progressive, even further so than Kamala. He's just a old white guy who makes Kamala look less radical, even though he's actually pulling her even further to the left than she already is. And he used to be a football coach, a high school football coach, along with a social studies teacher. And so here's the story on why he's dubbed Tampon Tim. He signed a bill last year as the Minnesota governor, or where's the governor of again? Double check that. Yeah, Minnesota governor. Requiring schools to provide free, and this is what they quote. This is the Hill quoting the bill. To provide free menstrual products in all public school bathrooms. The Minnesota law mandates menstrual products, including pads, tampons, and other items, to be available to all menstruating students in restrooms regularly used by students in grades 4 to 12. So he's a football coach who mandates his players to have tampons available in the locker room at all games, I'm guessing. For all menstruating players.
For all the menstruating football players.
You don't want to be in the middle of a game. Maybe you're kicking a field goal or you're playing quarterback or wherever you're playing.
The next thing you know, your flow's coming.
Your flow is coming, and Tampon Tim is there to absorb it all. That's why I think that they picked Tampon Tim. He's the only VP candidate capable of absorbing all of Kamala's messes.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. JC says that they're definitely setting the Dems up to a fail. They want Trump and the Zionist side to win. You know, I've gone back and forth on that. The way I've been looking at it lately is they're fabricating all this enthusiasm for Kamala that's just not real, in my opinion. But people are believing that it's real. And the AJC down here, they're pushing very, very hard, trying to make it seem like Trump's rally in Atlanta on Saturday was nothing and he pissed everybody off in Georgia. And Kamala's rally was huge and everybody was waiting, but it was the opposite. I was down there. I saw videos of Kamala's and I was actually down there outside the venue for Trump's, and it was the biggest block party that I've ever seen in my life. I'm starting to think that they're actually going to... It's obvious, I think, to people on the streets that Kamala is not going to get a historic number of votes, because that's what will have to happen. They will have to, again, say, Kamala got the most votes in history. This is the biggest turnout ever, and they're starting to pump that narrative. And I think they're going to try and steal it again, and it might be so obvious to many people that it could cause some sort of real conflict to manifest. I could be wrong. They might want Trump to get in.
I think they're gonna try to steal it. What are you talking about? Think they stole it once, they'll steal it again. But you know what? We got them. Yeah. We caught them all. We caught them all.
If they don't steal it again and they went to all these other measures before this, then it does make you wonder why did they all of a sudden...
I'm just red pilling everybody for you, Brad. I'm out there red pilling.
If they think you're Hitler, why would they stop at anything to prevent you? So if you do get into office, Mr. President, you have to wonder what made them change course. Or perhaps it's let him get into office so they can say, see, we didn't cheat, he won, and then maybe they're going to accuse you of cheating, or maybe they can wait till then to off you once you get in office. What do you think about that?
Or what about this scenario? I've been in control the entire time. We're running the biggest sting operation the world's ever seen.
Oh,
We've caught them all. We got all the evidence, and we're gonna have a pedo parade and all kinds of things. Take them all into Gitmo and bury them under there.
So trust the plan. You're saying the trust the plan is going to come to fruition.
Cafefe.
Okay. Well, I don't know why that made me think of the RFK leaving a dead bear, and was it Central Park story? Maybe we'll talk about that later. That was an interesting story. I always think about RFK because isn't the theory that RFK Senior, who's going to come back and be your VP?
JFK Junior.
Okay, I get them all. I get all these Kennedys.
This is the theory, Brad.
Okay, you're so up to date on all these QAnon drops. I'm starting to wonder if
you know, some people got to know a thing or two.
Well, you know a thing or two. That's for sure. So, I hope that what I would like to see is I'd like to see them lean into Tampon Tim like they did Dark Brandon. The news right now is saying that Tampon Tim, is that all you got, Republicans? That's weak. I mean, like it's a bad nickname. It's actually
I think it'd be great if he comes out, all these Dems are just chanting Tampon
Tim, and he has a bat, and he just throws tampons to all the fourth to 12th graders that are in the crowd. He flings them out.
I mean, that's their age range. That's their demographic.
Yeah, I mean, that's the menstruating people that they allow to have in the bathrooms. I say, how they have the Dark Brandon memes where Joe Biden's eyes are like lasers. They can have the Tim Waltz memes where he's like sucking on a tampon or something like that. I want to see them lean into it. I want to see, like they had the COVID vaccine needles and Colbert Show dancing around to promote the vaccine. I want to see dancing tampons. Maybe some used, maybe some unused.
Let's go out to the menstruating room. Let's go out to the menstruating room. Let's go out to the menstruating room and grab ourselves a tampon.
And stop Trump. So yeah. So it's got to be they're going to stop you.
I like the idea of renaming bathrooms to the menstruating room.
The menstruating room, the menstruating locker room. And the guy also worked building tanning beds when he was younger. So he could build you a tanning bed, themed in the style of a tampon, for all we know.
I mean, tanning beds kind of look like tampons.
Already, so there's already a theme there.
Or at least the applicator.
So you know what he needs to do? He can get real theatrics here. The stage floor can open up at one of his speeches or rallies, and a tanning bed could come out that there's a string on it. And somebody comes over and they pull the string and it opens up and out comes Tampon Tim to say, we have to stop this Nazi. We're going to absorb his evil and spin it back away. Whatever. They'll come up with plenty of puns.
Don't flush it down the toilet.
Yeah. We have the applicators. I don't even know what an applicator is.
It's the thing outside of the box.
You know so much random information, Mr. President. I wonder if Kamala sent Dougie to go pick up VP Tampon for her.
I wonder if he comes in a box.
He did. She opened him up after Dougie picked him up from CVS, which Doug is not afraid. So back to the...
So wait a minute, you're telling me that the vice president's a life-size tampon?
Yes. He's like a character on South Park. He speaks. He's got a face. He's like Towley.
Yeah, but he's a tampon.
Yeah, and sometimes the dog picks him up after he gets flung on the floor. Kamala's hammered. Secret Service got to pull the vice president out of the dog's mouth.
You know how many times so you're saying that Kamala's just going to keep him up in her hoo-ha?
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't grab her by the pee. He gets all the way in there, and she takes him everywhere. So that's the vice president. Now, your vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance.
Oh yeah, J.D.
Let me show you this story. This is an interesting story.
J.D. thinks he looks like a professional football player or something.
I don't know. I don't like J.D. at all, really. But,
nobody by the way, him, Brad. Nobody likes him.
Nobody likes him at all.
Nobody likes him.
The
I don't
VP
like him.
pick, yeah, he's not likable. The VP pick, it doesn't matter. The guy's just a white guy. It doesn't like it's so they're focusing on all of this and it's so stupid. It's going to be the dumbest VP debate ever.
Well, that's what we're really here to see, right?
I think so. Is idiocracy. But look at this story here. J.D. Vance approaches Air Force Two after Kamala Waltz land in Wisconsin. Says it will be my plane soon. And there's images, maybe even in this article here, of like J.D. Vance with his entourage, like charging over to the plane over there to say that's going to be my plane in the future. And after he pointed at the plane, he pointed at Doug's crotch and said, "That's going to be my dick too." And then he chest bumped some of his entourage guys that he tweeted a picture making a reference to Entourage, saying the next Entourage
Wait a
is
minute,
going to be.
Did he really say that's going to be my dick too? Or
Yeah, he said that's going to be that. He pointed at Dougie's penis and said that's going to be my dick too.
I don't know if I believe that.
You have to ask him yourself. He did. Just like he had sex with a couch. They still make the jokes about him writing about. He probably did have sex with a couch, but he didn't write about it in the book that they.
With a cow?
A couch.
Oh, a couch.
Are you not familiar with that story?
No, I haven't heard this one.
Yeah, so the media was running a story, and they're still saying it.
Well, the fake news gone.
That claimed that J.D. Vance wrote in his book, Hillbilly Eulogy, that when he was younger, he had intercourse with a crease and 2 couch cushions, and he had sex with the couch cushions.
Like when he was like 13?
Yeah, they say that he wrote about this in his book, which...
I mean, that's easily debunked or verifiable.
Isn't true. You could go check you do a DNA blacklight of that couch cushion.
Or you could just read the book. Right,
but they still say it. The thing is, though, he looks like somebody. He does. Like Sonya here. Vance gives people the creeps. That's why this stuff is plausible, because he does look weird. That's why they chose that word. That's why they were excited about him, because it's so plausible. You look at him and you think that's a guy who you don't want to leave an unattended drink around if you're a female in a bar. He just comes off as that kind of guy. Mr. President, I'm hearing some feedback on the audio. Like, I don't know if it's coming through your headphones or what, but here. It says here that, there's a picture there. Republican Vice President J.D. Vance stunned reporters Wednesday by attempting to confront Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate Tim Walz on the tarmac when their planes arrived. Here's him talking about it, actually. I just let him play it. At least I thought he was. Hold on. See, there's his entourage. You see that picture there? He tweeted earlier saying the new Entourage is going to be so cool. I mean, he looks like a douchebag in that photo. It just doesn't... I don't understand.
What's the thing? He's on an episode of Succession?
Yeah. So look there. That's the VP choice for Kamala. And Kamala looks very pale there, does she not?
She looks weird there.
She does. Those two are the same age.
No way.
Yeah.
That guy looks older than me.
He's 60 years old, and she's also 60 years old.
He's 60 years old. He looks like he's 87.
Well, he does look
He's
a little bit older.
He's a really used tampon.
He's definitely... he's been through the ringer for sure. I thought there was audio of him saying... Let me refresh this and see if we can hear Vance himself talking about...
So, what did they made it out that he attacked her or something?
No, it's the headlines made it seem like he charged over there and like was about to gang rape her and was like, "That's gonna be my," like it's an episode of Cobra Kai or something like that.
Oh man, I love Cobra Kai.
I know you do. That's why I brought that reference. I knew you'd like that. So here's Vance. Just looking for a couch to plow.
Guys, hold.
I'm holding. Over there?
Hannah,
Hannah, come on. He refused to
Here he is.
and ask her why.
future plane, but
Hannah, can we walk over there?
Hang on, everybody, hang on.
I just wanted to check out my future plane, but I also wanted to go say hello to the vice president and ask her why Kamala Harris why does she refuse to answer questions from the media? And I also thought that the press gaggle following her might get a little lonely. I at least have enough respect for you all and for the American people you report to come and talk to you and to answer some questions. And so I thought her reporters might actually benefit from that as well. So had a little bit of fun. I don't think the vice president waved at me as she drove away, but I'm glad to have done it. And I'm glad to be here in Wisconsin actually trying to persuade people to vote for us as opposed to just giving another scripted speech.
Well, Kamala does do.
I didn't hear him
speeches.
say anything about that being his dick.
Well, he that's sources tell me that he wasn't going to mention that part, but they say that Dougie's been shriveled up and terrified ever since.
Dougie,
because Vance is not his type. Dougie definitely likes men, but Vance is not his type. Now this story here. So there's stories about stolen valor and going around. I'm not going to go into all those. Everybody's talking about those. None of that matters about this candidate. None of it matters. Yeah, he when he was a candidate for something, I don't even know what, something in Congress in like 2004, he had some campaign materials that made it look like he fought in Afghanistan. But he didn't. He was in the military, but he didn't fight in Afghanistan. It was very deceptive. And then there's a video on Twitter of somebody going to his campaign office in 2004 and pointing out that what they're doing, the way they're misleading people, making it seem like making it seem like he fought in Afghanistan, is actually illegal, and it could get him arrested if they don't change their campaign materials. So that's the background of that story. But none of that matters. That's only going to make Republicans who already aren't voting for him or for Kamala just dislike him more. It's not going to swing anybody who is a Democrat the other way.
Well, no Democrat knows what valor is anyway.
They don't care. And this story here, Tim Walz's past DUI arrest for driving 96 in a 55 comes back to haunt the VP pick. It doesn't come back to haunt him. It was 30 years ago. It doesn't matter. You know how many people have gotten DUIs? These stories are irrelevant. People are going to forget this guy's name. I know you haven't, Mr. President. You've probably been getting rides for much of your life, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I've always had a chauffeur.
Yeah. If you have a chauffeur, but you don't drink either, right?
Yeah, and neither does my chauffeur.
Yeah, Vance, so Sonia says, Vance kind of reminds me of Crenshaw. I can see that. The Crenshaw the Rhino with the eye patch. They call him, eye patch John McCain is what some people call him. Yeah, something about him rubs me the wrong way, definitely. So, with that said,
he's not that one eye patch guy I like so much, Deathstroke.
You like that guy. You can't like that guy. That guy doesn't like you.
Deathstroke?
No, not Deathstroke. I'm talking about Dan Crenshaw.
I'm talking about Deathstroke.
Deathstroke is a fictional character, Mr. President.
That's you.
All right. Well, Biden did a sit-down today with CBS. He did a 40-second interview today, actually, with CBS. Hold on a second. Let me tee this up so we can see what he had to say, because I think it's important that when the president speaks. So let me start that over. So this news is obviously election-related news. Biden did a 40-second sit-down interview a 40-second sit-down interview with CBS News in which his only job...
a pretty long interview.
Really long interview. His only job was to warn Americans that if Trump loses, there might not be a peaceful transfer of power. Very, very easy. No way Joe can mess this up. So let's see how the president did.
At the White House today, President Biden sat down with CBS's Robert Costa for his first interview since dropping out of the 2024 race. Listen to what the president said could happen 5 months from now.
Are you confident that there will be a peaceful transfer of power in January 2025?
If Trump wins, no, I'm not confident at all. I mean,
if Trump wins, he had one job. His one job was to make it look like if you lost, Mr. President, that you would cause an insurrection. And the first thing he says out of the gate is if Trump wins, there will not be a peaceful transfer of power, which sounds actually like the truth coming out to me.
Yeah, they're saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah. And since it's such a short interview, I'll let you hear that again. And surely he completed the 30 seconds left in the interview after that perfectly fine with no mistakes. Let's watch.
Robert Costa for his first interview since dropping out of the 2024 race. Listen to what the president said could happen 5 months from now.
Are you confident that there will be a peaceful transfer of power in January 2025?
If Trump wins, no, I'm not confident at all. I mean, if Trump loses, I'm not confident at all. He means what he says. We don't take him seriously. He means it. All the stuff about if we lose, there'll be a bloodbath. Have to be a stolen election. Look what they're trying to do now.
So what was that last line there? He made the bloodbath lie, which you were talking about. Something different there. Do you have any idea what he said in that last sentence there, Mr. President?
It sounds like marbles. Can you run it back?
Yeah, let's turn on the subtitles and see if they help us out at all here. Back there.
I mean, if Trump loses, I'm not confident at all. He means what he says. We don't take him seriously. He means it. All the stuff about if we lose, there'll be a bloodbath. Have to be a stolen election. Look what they're trying to do now.
It appears, according to the subtitles, about he does all that about if we lose, there's going to be a bloodbath. If half be a stone, if half be a stone, look what they're trying to do. Is that some sort of code speak?
I mean, it sounds like he said something about the storm, but
maybe he is talking about the storm. Now he continues to warn voters about what these people who might try and help get Trump elected might resort to doing that needs to be stopped. You can tell by his tone. Listen to this awful plans that some of these MAGA people have.
Look what they're trying to do now in the local election districts where people count the votes. They're elected, they're putting people in place in states that they're going to count the votes, right? You can't.
God forbid there might be people counting the votes. America, Trump supporters might resort to the anti-democratic act of counting the votes locally. And he continues.
Love your country only when you win.
Robert,
and that's the interview. That's the entire 30. He had 30 seconds to not mess up. And all he did was say the opposite of what it seems he was trying to say and talk about how bad it is that there might be people counting the votes. And nobody said anything about this. I've seen people on CNN, I've seen the press secretary, I've seen people on MSNBC all say Joe Biden says that there might not be a peaceful transfer of power if Trump loses. And not one time did they point out this series of flubs or the fact that he was like, they might actually count the votes. This is gaslighting in a way we've never seen before. I don't know if it's even possible for the media to gaslight Americans in a more abusive way than we've already seen. But we're about to find out if they can, because they're going to try.
Oh, now they got a senile old man at their disposal.
The guy is, we haven't seen the guy since Kamala made her announcement. It's like, where's he been? Kamala's had all the attention, so we don't ever see Joe. And then the first time we see him in a slightly not control. I mean, it's still super controlled, but the first time he makes a real public appearance, it's this. This is our president. This is so ridiculous. I mean, it's almost hilarious. I just imagine what people in other countries think when they see something like this. North Koreans are laughing at us because of how brainwashed we are. And this puppet president, you know Star Trek, the episode where they had I don't know if it's a Nazi leader or what it is, but they have the old man that's basically dead and they're just puppeteering him and almost playing like deep fakes to continue to use him to rule over because of the figure. He's not ruling at all. I mean, Biden is not. It wouldn't surprise me if that was a body double, and he's not even with us anymore. But the guy is waking up.
It would surprise you even after the phone call you had 2 weeks ago?
With the Biden doubles, yeah, no, I don't. I never know which Biden is real anymore. This is nonlinear warfare turned up to 11. Yeah, it is. It's like brain scrambling.
The one Biden who escaped got recaptured. It's sad. It's sad. It's really sad.
He was trying to be buddies with you too, so they don't want that to happen. Maybe this whole operation really is just to cause massive distrust and collapse the system. The system should always be distrusted, skeptical, and they should have to earn your trust, especially when our government has done nothing but prove itself over and over again in our lifetimes and beyond that the only thing they do consistently is lie and deceive us, lie to us and deceive us.
You know, you sound like Thomas Jefferson there, Brad.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. That's quite a reference. I do not own any slaves.
So, I don't know what that has to do with anything.
I don't know in what context you were talking about. I know how the media talks about Thomas Jefferson, but I appreciate the compliment.
I'm talking about what you're talking about. Sounds like what he would say.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure you weren't calling me a slave owner. Because I have a dog.
Now, why would you think that that's what I was saying?
Because that's what the media tells me.
Well,
they say Thomas Jefferson. Tom, you mean the slave owner who was having sex, raping his slaves? Is what they say.
He was also an abolitionist.
Yeah, I know. I love how people like that act like they would not have been Nazis in World War II, and they would not have been slave owners.
Yeah, you know the choice you had as a German if you didn't choose to be a Nazi. They'd kill you.
Right. And it's a bunch of conformists acting like they would have been the ones who were standing up against the awful things going on when the people that actually did that are the opposite of them.
Well, that being said, you had people like Rommel and a handful of those guys that conspired against Hitler.
Yes. Rommel, is that his name?
Erwin Rommel was one of the people. He was Hitler's favorite general.
Did you see that in that movie?
No, I've read about it in history.
And he turned against Hitler. What happened to him?
So there was an assassination attempt, and they figured out that there was a coup being led against him. And after the investigation, when Hitler found out that Rommel was possibly allegedly one of the members of the coup, he had the military go over to his house, and him and his son, for one split second, were going to fight him off. And then he told his son to lower the weapons because he knew that his son would just die.
Did his son die?
No. He walked out to the car, and they drove him down a street, and they gave him a pistol, and he walked onto the sidewalk and blew his brains out.
Oh. So he got a free pistol out of it, though.
But they allowed him to kill himself because Hitler had so much respect for him.
What if he just would have been like, awesome, free pistol, and
killed all of them?
Yeah, or just went home and said, I thought they were going to kill me. They gave me this cool gun.
Well, no, the writing was on the wall that he should kill himself.
They wrote on his wall.
Not literally.
I don't know my World War II history. That's interesting information, Mr. President. I know a little bit about World War II, but not about that. I've only read Hitler's book.
You should really, bump up on that World War II knowledge. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know a little bit about. I know about the propaganda. I've read many of the propaganda analysis. And Hitler, they don't want you reading Hitler's book because they don't want you reading his propaganda. He has an entire chapter where he outlines his propaganda campaign. That's why I read it. I bought it from a Barnes and Nobles, and the cashier was a black chick, and I was very nervous buying it. This was before all of this. This was probably like 8 years ago. It was still available in Barnes and Nobles. There was like 3 copies of it there. And I think everybody who has a little bit of willpower not to, just start hating Jewish people or minorities or gay people because of Hitler's book, I think they should read it because it's very revealing about how propaganda works and strategy. It's interesting. So, meanwhile, let's check in on Yeah, JC says
Hitler was just some doofus that almost ended up taking over the world.
Yeah, I mean, he was controlled. Like Hitler was controlled, just like a lot of these other people are.
But there was like nothing smart, nothing like he wasn't in line for anything. He was just some normal guy.
He was a normal guy, but he was a leader of a country, and he was on this.
No, but he doesn't start out as a leader.
Oh, you're talking about his rise to power. He's a soldier. Yeah, he's
right.
a soldier.
He was a World War II soldier. That's where the mustache came from. He was putting on his gas mask.
It's World War I soldier is what he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was putting his mustard gas mask on, but it wouldn't fit around his handlebar mustache. So he got exposed to mustard gas.
He had a Monopoly mustache prior?
I think it was like the type that goes down your face.
Interesting. Yeah, he talks about his military service in his book. He builds himself up as a war hero. Of course, it's in the autobiographical part.
Well, he most certainly wasn't. He couldn't put his gas mask on right, was exposed to mustard gas, and was relieved of his duty. And he trimmed his mustache so it never would happen again.
That's not the way he tells the story, Mr. President.
Well, history's written by the victors, not by Hitler.
It definitely is. JC says, I plotted against Hitler, and all I got was this cool pistol. Yeah, that's a T-shirt that was very popular in the Nazi Germany.
Yeah, that one and Keep Calm.
Yeah, a lot of people get watches when they retire or they're let go. When you leave the Nazi regime, you get a pistol and that's it. You don't get anything else. So after Kamala announcing her VP, Joe doing this interview, let's check in and see how this campaign to build this enthusiasm is for Kamala, because we're seeing it and hearing about it everywhere in the news, and we've seen the white dudes for Kamala, we've seen the white women for Kamala, we've seen the gays for Kamala. They're segregating all these identities, and they're having these Zoom call meetings together.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They had the 20,000 black people.
The 20,000 black people, where I don't know if this is like some sort of...
or no, 201,000. It was something like that. And then there were only 20 white guys.
Right. Yeah, there's only 20 white guys. You can't even have that many on these calls. Let's check in on the Comics for Kamala Zoom call. Did you see any of this, Mr. President?
No.
Well, a lot of famous comedians from television shows, mostly.
Like Seinfeld?
No, I don't think there's anybody from Seinfeld.
I love that Seinfeld.
But Parks and Recreation, I think, was there. And in fact, Nick Offerman, that guy, whatever show that guy was in.
Oh, the Nick Offerman show.
Yeah, so Nick Offerman was one of the comedians featured here, and I wanted to play this for you because he wrote a song.
I don't really know who he is, but go on.
He's in the show, I think it was Parks and Recreation or Community, one of those two. And his character was like famously a libertarian in that show.
Yeah, I love that guy.
You're not going to love him after this. Parks and Rec. Yeah, thank you, JC. So, all right, he wrote a song that he played that this is Comedians for Kamala. And this is the song that he wrote, and I don't present it to whoever the hell was watching this thing yesterday. Here's Nick Offerman playing his comedic song for Kamala.
You can't believe there's a whole league of comedians.
Listen to what he said there again. Listen to how gay that language is that he used. Kamala Curious.
I didn't hear any of that.
Did I not put? It's because I'm an idiot. I didn't put it on screen. If you see me talking and just looking around and there's nothing on screen, then let me know that I'm retarded. And so you can see that now, right?
Yeah, wow, he looks like he looks like an anime character.
He does look a bit strange with those sideburns and that mustache. I'm gonna bump this audio up a bit. It's a little low. Hold on 1 second. Well, might have to just be a little low. All right. Here he is, Nick Offerman.
Talking, but it's great because I think there are going to be a lot of Republicans who for obvious reasons are Kamala curious that are going to be tuning in. And so I've written a song for the evening from the point of view
Kamala
of one
curious.
of these Republicans that might
you can hear that, right?
Have
Yeah,
once been
and it
blind,
does look like
but
a
now
human
can see a way
catfish.
clear to decency.
Wait, what did he say there? That little last part? They're all so highfalutin
might,
and take themselves so seriously.
Republicans that might
You'd think you'd have a nicer house.
Yeah. Hold on, let me hear what he says. Right
once been blind, but now can see a way clear to decency.
Oh, okay. Republicans seeing a way to decency.
When he mocked the disabled and war heroes, I looked the other way. He said to march on the Capitol. Well, if the president says it's okay.
No, he never said that.
And I don't mind sex with porn stars. I'd do it too if I had the guts.
Oh, that's so funny.
But when it comes to fucking the furniture, well, that's just fucking nuts.
That's a fake story.
So I'm proud to be
little Lee Greenwood, Mr. President.
I knew where he was going. It's not comedy.
Yeah. And did you hear the chorus line there? I think you'll appreciate the chorus line, how gay it is.
Well, that's just fucking nuts. So I'm proud to be a Kamala man who has quit the GOP. Cause I just can't abide a man who's tried for 34 felonies. And it's time to stand up and face the fact that the men that I once cheered are a bunch of wingnut white nationalists. Well, those guys are fucking weird.
If he would have said queer, that would have been edgy.
That would have been funny. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but they're weird because that's the talking point. You know what I think's going on outside of frame? I think his wife is getting plowed by like 12 black dudes out of frame because there's no way that he's doing this without a butt plug in his ass. This is the gayest shit I've ever heard in my life. This is comics for Kamala. This is you have to be getting paid something, or they have to have some sort of compromising information on you to resort to this level of cringe embarrassment. And you're right. He looks like he lives in a dirty, his couch is like on the floor.
He's got like I don't know what the hell that is right beside him.
It's probably something he sticks in one of his.
It looks like those butt plugs you were talking about.
He's got a lot of butt plugs, and he's getting cucked right now out of frame. I would not be able to.
I would expect him to have a nicer
like
house though after 14 seasons of that TV show.
It might not be his house. Maybe he's like on location somewhere. And he's in an Airbnb or I don't know. But it's not a bad house actually. He just makes it look.
I don't know. Have you ever?
He looks like a
Mar-a-Lago?
homeless person, homeless catfish. Could you ever do this? Yeah, no, I haven't seen Mar-a-Lago. Just on video.
I'll tell you, it doesn't look anything like that.
Well, I wouldn't think that it would. Let's hear a little bit more of this. See what his comedic talents shows us.
Well, I bought me a Trump Bible, 'cause like me, he's a man of God. But when he rants about sharks and batteries, I find that doddering old man kind of odd.
That's another gaslight. Do you know what he's talking about?
I can't I can't understand what he's saying.
He said when he rambles about sharks and batteries or something. Trump at his rallies, he does material. He does all these rallies all the time, and like a stand-up comedian does. I've done a lot of stand-up comedy, a lot of open mics, and Trump is testing stuff that works on crowds. And the stuff that doesn't work, he throws away. And the other stuff that hits, he continues using it. And one of his rallies, he was like talking about shark. He was like trying to make a comparison and making jokes to try to express a point like people do, and it didn't hit.
I mean, it's Shark Week.
It was probably around Shark Week, actually, because it was around the same time. So the reference they were trying to get. But the media takes that and says, that he's just as brain damaged as Biden when they know good and well what's going on. Like, make an honest criticism. This is just gaslighting, and this guy, who I think he's funny on that show, he knows that he's full of shit here. So what is compelling him to do this? Does he believe that Trump is not a Nazi, or are there gay porn pictures somewhere that someone's saying these are going to go public if you don't sing this gay ass song? I don't know.
Yeah, it could be either one.
Let's see.
And while I'm no theologian, I thought it rather queer when they said that God let that fireman die, but only nicked Don's precious ear.
Calling into question the.
So I'm proud to be on
Wait,
Kamala's
hold on a
side.
second.
Yeah, I think he might be suggesting that you didn't get hit at all, Mr. President.
And that God killed the fireman behind me?
He's saying that the president.
He started out talking about how he's no theologian.
So they're making up a lot of stuff. I believe they're saying that he's making it sound like Trump said that God killed the fireman, which I'm pretty sure that those words were never expressed. But he seems to be alluding to the theory that Trump didn't get hit by anything here, which some people on all sides believe. Not everybody. Honestly, I'm open to anything. I haven't seen an argument that I haven't been able to
some people believe the world is
quickly.
flat.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what happened on that. I just wish people made better arguments about it. Like, I saw somebody making an argument the other day where they said Trump's ear was fine the next day because he was out golfing. Look at this picture, when it takes you 2 seconds to pull that picture up and find out that it was from last year and that was a made-up story. Or the thing about the signs. First time they had signs saying fired, and it was a signal. No, they've had "you're fired" signs at every Trump rally. And
it's the slogan.
I know. It's been the slogan the entire year. I've seen it myself. Multiple times.
It's specifically my slogan from The Apprentice.
I know. I understand. Yeah, right. So, I've done shows on this already, and I'm not. I know people are divided about that. I'm open to anything. People latch on to arguments that are easily dispatched of, which prevents them from seeing what might be an actual good argument. And I just wish people recognize their own confirmation bias either way. And I know, everybody doesn't recognize it sometimes. But the arguments are weak, and there might be actual good arguments to find. You don't have to have an answer right away. I'm like conspiracy theorist. You don't have to know right away. It's okay not to know right away and have a take. Everybody wants to be the first one with the unique take. It causes people to latch onto bad arguments that makes all of this not look good. When you can go, no, here's why. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what happened. A good argument can be ruined by just bad evidence that's obvious someone didn't really ask. Maybe I'm wrong. We always have to ask, maybe I'm wrong. We have to challenge our own arguments as harder than those who seek to make us look foolish would do. But what happens too often, in my opinion, and I know I'm guilty of it sometimes, definitely, is that we're so eager to prove what we want to be true for the purposes of our unique perspective or whatever, that's all we look for, and we don't even consider that maybe we overlooked something or had a blind spot. Like, that's the best thing that I ever learned in law school, and it's the best thing I ever learned from reading the CIA manuals. That's what they train the CIA agents to do. Is you have your theory and your argument, and what you do to build the strength of that argument is you attack it like your worst enemy who wants to make you look foolish to you. That's not how they phrased it, but that's what you do. And what ends up happening is, if you're right, you uncover actual good information that enables you to build a convincing argument that normies, that people, I'm not trying to convince conspiracy theorists and stuff. We agree about a lot of the same stuff. But friends of mine who might be in the middle, who I can present an argument to them and open their eyes, as opposed to, everybody appeals to the groups that they're in. It's marketing. But I personally want something that takes into account all of the things that the people who think you're crazy already are going to say. And nope, here's why I've already thought about that. So you need to think about, think about all of their arguments, every single one of them. But we stay in our own mindset a lot, which of course we're in our own freaking brains. It's hard not to stay in our own mindset. And it prevents us from, I think, finding good arguments. And I'm not acting like I'm great at this. I'm just, I need evidential standard, court admissible type evidence. Like, that's how I think about this stuff. And honestly, I think a lot of it's weird. I think a lot of it's freaking weird. I think there's valid questions to be asked. I don't mean to say that you might be a part of something, Mr. President. I don't know. I'm just saying questions should always be asked. Always. And we should also question ourselves. I'll get off my soapbox and we'll go back to this retarded comedian.
Do we have to hear the rest of this thing?
Just a few more seconds and we'll...
Sharks and batteries, I find that doddering old man kind of odd. And while I'm no theologian, I thought it rather queer when they said that God let that fireman die, but only nicked Don's precious ear.
I do think it's funny that I don't think it's a funny rhyme. I think it's...
So I'm proud to be on Kamala's side, where I know I'll never see some spray tan tool denying a girl her ethnic identity. And J.D. Vance looks like a baby's butt underneath that creepy beard. So I'll say it loud and I'll sing it proud. Those guys are fucking weird.
So you know you're a tool when you're just spreading that BS. And look, I think this, you didn't get to see this yesterday, Mr. President. So I think with him talking about that BS about Trump goes to that black journalist thing and it's racism to call into question Kamala's racial identity, which they made it the whole story about a racial identity. I'm going to play the same montage you listened to yesterday's show. You heard it, but I'm going to play it again. It's just about 40 seconds long, and I think it's worth playing. These are black guys that I spoke with personally this weekend on what they think Kamala's, whether she's black or not. All right, Mr. President. Are you okay there, Mr. President?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
I'm not losing you, am I?
No, right. You're not losing me.
All right, here you go. You can't see that yet, can you? Yeah, there you go. All right, look at this. So here's black guys talking about Kamala's code switching that she does that Trump called out the other day.
I think she's a little conniving little bitch.
We don't even want Kamala Harris in office. You see what I'm saying? Because get what? She not even African American, but she Indian. She Indian just like Trump said, bro. Kamala Harris Indian, what?
Oh, tell us about Kamala.
She not black, she Indian. She Indian. That bitch ass Kamala, that little hoe, her grandfather was the biggest slave master in Jamaica from Browntown, which was named after him, which means East Indian town. She was an East Indian then, the bitch is an East Indian now.
What do you think about Kamala's? Right. So those guys were right, man. I tell you what, they thought that I was Antifa at first, and they did not like the white Antifa guys who were telling them what they should think is racist or not. Tunnel vision, Denver's a good way to put that.
I mean, I don't think you should tell other ethnicities what you think is racist.
Yeah.
I think
go ahead.
I think it's racist when they're offended for other people that aren't offended.
Yeah. It was really funny that they kept putting on the big screen all the headlines from like the AP and CNN from like 2020 where it's like Asian Indian Americans finally get political power with Kamala. And it was a pretty good troll. All right, so maybe that was just one comedian who didn't do very good during that thing. Maybe some of these other ones did. So let's give them one more shot. I'm going to show you a couple more comedians here. I know that you're a comedian yourself, really, Mr. President. So let's see if what you think of a few of the other comics that spoke during the Comics for Kamala meeting.
Dare you?
I'm excited to be here as a white dude. But I'm also
Excuse me.
That's
This
John
isn't
Hamm.
the White Dudes for Kamala. That was last week.
Oh, sorry. What is this?
This is Comics for Kamala.
Right. I'm not a comedian.
Yeah, John, we know. We've seen your work.
Okay, wow. That's just rude.
This is where I'm at.
So do you have a 1 to 10, or let's say 5 stars, best, 1 star? What do you rate that? John Hamm's comedic sketch and his appearance on Comics for Kamala. Mr. President?
I've been talking for like 10 minutes and didn't even realize I was muted.
Well, what did you think of John Hamm's sketch?
You know, I just said it.
I didn't hear it. You were muted.
They nobody what? Who's the other guy?
I don't know who this other guy is. You know what he looks like to me? He looks like David Hogg from the year 2050.
And he's just a jerk to John Hamm.
I think that was the sketch. I think that was supposed to be the humor.
You know, if I was John Hamm after they treated me like that, I'd definitely be coming.
You think he should
I
go
think
vote
he
for
should
Trump?
switch
You're not.
sides, yeah.
Yeah. You think John Hamm's a very funny guy. His work on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, very funny guy. Very funny.
Maybe you have a place in your administration for John Hamm.
You know, very talented on that mansplaining show he did too.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
You know, where he was a journalist
I have no idea.
or whatever. He worked for the marketing company.
Oh, you're talking about I can't remember. This is the advertising show, Mad Men.
Stepford Wives or whatever.
Stepford Wives, yeah, Stepford Mad Men. About 30 more seconds of this to show you a few more comedians.
Just rude.
This is where I imagine thousands of people are just laughing.
Yeah, he's gonna have to imagine that. It's the only place it's gonna happen. This is
On
imagination.
Zoom. So I'll just wait.
There's speculation that Trump is unhappy with Vance and is thinking about getting rid of him, but he better hurry because it's been 6 weeks. That's an abortion joke for everyone who's.
Yeah, so she has to explain the abortion joke. She's telling it to Swalwell there.
Nobody got it.
Well, Swalwell was laughing. He understood it, but that's
No,
the
he
girl.
didn't. He was courteously laughing. You can tell.
Yeah.
Run it back. Watch him. He's courteously laughing. That's not a real
You
laugh.
think? All right. You guys know Fang Fang, his former spy that he was sleeping with. She died.
Fing Fong Fang, yeah.
She's dead. You know that, right?
Fing Fong Fang.
Yeah, Fang Fang's dead.
There's speculation that Trump is unhappy with Vance and is thinking about getting rid of him, but he better hurry because it's been 6 weeks. That's an abortion joke for everyone who's.
JD Vance has.
So
thinking about those dead.
So yeah, you gotta, and she's so worried about that joke, she's not even listening to him because she feels like her abortion joke. Did she expect a loud? So all of the, I feel sorry for Swalwell here because he was responsible for whether or not she was going to be happy about that joke.
Where's she thinking she's going to get the immediate crowd?
Right, you can
on a Zoom call with one guy.
Exactly, you can see the displeasure on her face. Like he was laughing even if he was faking, but it wasn't to her satisfaction. She's used to that live reaction from SNL. And it says here they've raised $485,000 on this thing, which is unbelievable to me. Maybe they might be fake. One more.
Headlines.
Some sprayed.
Oh, we already heard that guy. I don't need to hear him.
Are we going to listen to that again?
No. I'm trying to skip him. DJ
suggests he doesn't debate her. I've been.
So he's telling DJ Hooley or whatever his name is. He's saying
married to a black woman for 38 years, and I've never wanted to debate. I'm 0-97. So
yeah,
whatever you do, make sure you do not debate her.
So, right, but Tulsi Gabbard's 1-0. So
But truly, it has been Kamala all along.
So that girl made a reference to a show that she's in that probably a very small percentage of people have seen. You know the show she's in?
No.
It's a Marvel show. It's the what's the witch show?
Oh, yeah, Dorothy Agnes or whatever.
It was Agnes or whatever all along. She's the main witch, the rival witch. And so she makes a joke that nobody's even seen that show. It's like a low-rated show. I think that's it. Tom Arnold
or whatever.
Enough of that, dude. And then there was some booty clapping. Some comedians did some fucking booty clapping. And so with all of this going on, it seems that Trump would have a lead like he did before, at least they told us he did, before Joe stepped aside. Then they fabricate this enthusiasm, in my opinion, and they have these efforts that seem to be mockable and fail. So let's look at the odds on predictit.org to see who the people putting money on this election, betting on it, who they have as winning the election right now. Kamala Harris leading Trump 56-48, according to predictit.org bets. What do you think about that?
I think they're about to waste their money.
Maybe. I haven't bet on this one. I bet on some of the VP pick things. I got one of them right, or I got it right that Biden was going to step down, which I thought was pretty easy. But I got in low on that one, so I made a little bit. But I'm not going to bet on this one because I think they've created enough media plausibility to where they're going to steal it again. I don't think that Trump's going to win. I think if it's real, I think he'd win. But right now, I think that they're going to give it to Kamala. I think they're going to cheat.
You're a black pill, Brad.
And I'm not a black pill. It just looks like that is where this is going. But maybe I could be wrong. It seems to me if they do that, though, they do that knowing that it's going to actually probably cause some chaos in this country. Maybe real chaos, maybe false flagged chaos, because the January 6th thing from last time, that was all, there was no insurrection. I mean, all that stuff is black pilling. I mean, not black pilling. It's gaslighting. CNN's doing a documentary on black pilling, by the way. I think I sent you that the other day. CNN documentary on black pilling and the origins of political extremism is what they call it.
Well, there's a documentary on Anonymous on Netflix.
A new one?
I don't know. I just saw it on Netflix.
Did you watch it?
No, not yet.
You like Anonymous, I know that. All right. So we'll skip the robo-dentist thing, and what do you want to do? I'll give you the choice of the final thing that we're going to do. Do you want to do a story about a naked carjacker causing havoc on the streets of Iowa, or do you want to play a little bit of video from the former CIA's chief of disguise that show the very realistic looking mask that the CIA has been making for years? This video is 4 years old. That is the reason why many people think that there could be a number of Biden or whoever body doubles. And it's some of these are very real looking. It's crazy.
Yeah, let's see it.
All right.
This is the one where the CIA says they have trouble turning men into women.
No, I think that's the trans agenda. So here's that's not on a person. That's the mask pulled off, but we'll watch some of it and see what they're showing.
It could keep you safe. It could keep you from getting shot. It could keep you
nice music
alive.
there.
A mask could.
5-second mask.
People are amazed that there was a job title called Chief of Disguise. And most women I know wish they'd had that job. Sounded like fun. Actually,
how do we know that's her real face?
I don't think another intelligence agency in the world.
You know who it is? It's RFK.
And the budget.
I think you're right.
To disguise like
listen to her voice.
Disguise became a form of body armor. In the Spy Museum, we call the mask a 5-second mask. They proved invaluable.
Show somebody taking
you
it
could
off.
change your ethnicity. You could change your gender. You could change your
yeah, check that out right
mask,
there.
5-second mask. They proved in the budget to disguise like we did. Disguise became a form of body armor. In the Spy Museum, we call the mask a 5-second mask. They
How many
proved
times is she
invaluable.
going to say that?
I took it back because I wanted to hear the sentence she says after this.
Oh, what RFK says, you mean?
Yeah, this right here is the interesting part.
Invaluable. You could change your ethnicity. You could change your gender. You could change your nationality. And if you needed to, you could actually become another person. When I was chief of disguise, we had already begun using Hollywood stunt double masks. That was a technology that came straight out of LA.
Planet of the Apes
worked with
masks.
men.
They use those for the CIA.
Yeah, I mean, she's talking about how they came straight out of Los Angeles, and a lot of the government and spy agencies, they've had a long working history.
That's why there's all that history of the rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, those are all RFK Jr. right there. All three of those guys. Stella says she's really Elvis. That's she lost her voice too, so she's got to be this master of disguise now.
Named John Chambers, who had done all the makeup for Planet of the Apes.
He has a definite gift for mimicry.
They could spend 5 hours putting on a mask.
That's
They could
Dr.
spend an hour taking
Zayas.
it off.
Doctor who?
Dr. Zayas.
And they could shoot it again and again and again until they got the lights just right. Our mask had to be perfect in the car. When you got out of the car, you had to know without a mirror.
Show somebody.
The point of all of our masks was speed. You had to imagine that you were going to be in situations that you couldn't even anticipate.
Chased by apes.
An officer somewhere picks this thing up, just puts it on in 5 seconds and knows that it's right, that he's invisible. If you had to sit and tinker with this thing, if you needed a mirror, it wasn't going to be useful to you at all. The masks were full-face latex masks. It allows you to furrow your brow. It allows you to squint your eyes. It allows you to speak. You talk. The specific mask we're talking about would fit just one person. The first thing we do is we make a face impression. If you've been to a dentist and never had a dental impression, it's the same thing. It's just your face, not your teeth.
So they can make one of anybody if they can do that.
They would have added to his face. They could rearrange his face a bit and give him a new face.
Rearrange
that would fit
somebody's
perfectly
face.
I bet you
over
did.
his real face. We never used human hair. We always used a synthetic. The idea of a man washing the hair on his mask and making it look nice when that was all done was never going to happen. The synthetic hair, you couldn't hurt it, basically. You could wear your mask in a rainstorm and your hair would still be okay.
Very human.
The masks, more than once, were taken off in a moment of terror and crushed down and put under arms in armpits. They would fit in armpits if they needed to. That was
smelly.
Part of the design.
All right, I'm going to play another one. This one didn't actually show the people. Here's one that.
We always talk about disguise as though it's an onion. Whether you're building it or whether you're peeling it off. It's almost transparent layers. And when you get enough of them going, you disappear and this other person is in the room. The person you were talking to would have no idea in a mask. That memo, that care, you might want to go light. If he's young, you might want to throw in some gray. If he's old, you might want to cover cheekbone mouth. They can change your enunciation. They can cause a slight lisp. It's a little bit different with everybody who wears one, but if it's enough, it's very useful. We very often discover that older looking men are considered less threatening than younger looking men, so we like to age a person. With women, you have a broader range of what you can do. You also have one extra step. You could turn a woman into a man. I would mention that it's almost impossible to turn a man into a woman. What we do is always additive. We can make you taller, we can make you heavier, we can make you older. We can't go the other direction. You want to
wait a minute. This is the mask we're talking about here? Are you seeing this mask, Mr. President? Is your mic muted again?
Yeah, the guy looks homeless.
YouTube just rejected my comment for something, for spam. I was responding to JC saying I expected her to take the mask off. Yeah, that would have been the best way to do it. It looks super fake. It looks terrible.
We can't go the other direction. You want to be the person that gets on the elevator and then gets off, and nobody really remembers that you were even there.
If I saw this person here, like if I saw that person in an elevator, I would remember that person was there because I'd say this
Skeletor.
This person's wearing a mask, or they have.
Well,
they have leprosy.
Look at that woman right there. She looks terrible.
Yeah, look at that man right there. That's not. Yeah, I want the mask to look like somebody in an elevator that nobody would remember. Everybody would remember this person if they were in the elevator with them. What is with the hair? I'm not impressed yet. I've heard a lot of people talking about these. I thought there's better videos of this. All right, one more. This one's just. Can you see that?
You know what's impressive is the Mission Impossible mask.
Yeah, that's what I thought they were.
Really easy to put on.
Yeah.
Eye fitment's really good, really comfortable eye holes.
Does he know that the shoulder skin's over?
He needs to put the shoulder skin. A CIA agent shows up to an operation and he's forgotten to tuck the shoulder skin under his shirt. That one might actually look a little more real if he would just tuck the shoulder skin.
Were they outside?
Do what?
We're shooting this outside?
I don't know where they're shooting it.
This mask of it.
Must be.
Really
a
nice.
train nearby.
Hey, where's somebody quiet we can shoot this? I don't know. How about the loading bay?
So you can buy one of these at metamorphousmask.com.
What's that?
Wonder if any of those are good. So look at all these people you can buy. You can buy this guy with a very strange noose-shaped beard, I guess that is. So everybody you can buy appears to be either from Star Trek or a white nationalist there. Here, I wish they. Okay, this guy has the shoulders up. Hold on, let me share the different. Can you see that now? I'm gonna share this. This one. Hopefully, this is a good one. If it's not, then I guess we're screwed, dude, Mr. President. I was hoping for a little bit better from the CIA. Well, this was years ago, so and this is what they show us. They probably have better. It says the secret agent.
Yeah, today we got a brand new mask to share with you guys.
So this is the guy's wearing a mask. I think it's obvious because we know that we're watching that kind of stuff. Would this person be off-putting if you saw him in real life? Would you think that there was?
It looks like a big thumb.
He does. I guess if you're not thinking about that, you might not even notice it. So this is somebody that could go a little unnoticed if you aren't really paying attention, if you're just playing with your phone or something.
This is the Special Agent Silicone Mask. Another hyper-realistic male. This mask was designed again on a brand new core. You have improved eye and lip fitment. Super realistic. This one has an adjustable nose ridge that you can clamp down on your nose. So it keeps things really tight in the corners.
What does he really look like?
Skin tone is super realistic, as you can see. The eye fitment and the coloration on it. Really good. Seems like we're getting better every time.
Yeah, if it's out in the public, they're 15, 20 years advanced past that.
I want to see what he really looks like.
We have the Tony Stark ones that are like, you just peel that little skin off that's got digital assets on it that make you, it's like a hologram.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know, man. That one could work if you're not paying attention, but if you have to have so if you're having like a one-on-one meeting with that guy, I think you're like, why does your eye appear to be sagging from your face? Stella says, puts a new slant on the mask mandates. Certainly does. Yeah, I was hoping for more here. What is this one? Show me something good here, guy. The Elder
This
mask.
is a brand new Elder silicone mask.
Prevents
This
pregnancy.
one was designed on our brand new core. Improve high holes again.
You can't talk like that, though. You gotta change your voice.
Extremely realistic. This is by far the best
Now,
mask
he looks like his voice is out of sync. This isn't like the video, but it's his lips aren't moving right.
we ever designed. This one still has the adjustable nose bridge, really thin lips for better mouth movement and expression. The inside of the mask is now polished, so it's a bit more durable and just a higher quality finish.
Oh, he's taking his clothes off now. I get to see what he looks like. I was hoping he was an Asian woman. Show your face, dude. He won't show his face. All right, enough of that. That's interesting. I do wonder how advanced they are. What if you went over to like a girl's house you were dating, Mr. President, if you and Melania happened to separate for any reason, and you go in and maybe you go walk into a shower, or for some reason you're creeping around and you look in one of her drawers and you just see like a row of realistic looking masks that are all like female masks, similar to that one. But then you also see like man mask and stuff like that. And do you try and pull the face off? Especially if you're attracted to her, maybe you think you're going to get lucky. Do you just start pulling its skin? What do you do?
I mean, first off, you got to say a prayer.
You got to pray, yeah, of course.
And then,
what do you pray for? What do you say?
Give God the courage so that you can confront this beast.
You're going to give God the courage to give you the ability to confront the beast.
Give God the courage so that he'll give it back to you to do it.
Yeah, right. Sometimes he needs a little pump up. And then you go, and what do you do next?
Oh yeah, you confront them. You just pull their face right off their body.
This is a perfect illustration of why certain things aren't people's fault or shouldn't be. People shouldn't be held criminally liable for certain things because the government has spent so much time lying and deceiving them that it would only be natural in certain situations to lean over and try to pull the skin off of somebody's face. Why did you do that? Because the CIA has masks and they said they can be anybody they want to be. So I thought this was a CIA agent. That should be a defense in a criminal trial.
Yeah, how do you not know? You grab them by the pussy.
And you grab them right by the pussy and hopefully it doesn't come off and you see a dong. You don't want that. We'll end the show on JC Says Mr. President Gives God the Courage. That could be one of your new slogans, Mr. Trump. Thanks for joining us. Thank you guys for hanging out in the chats. Face Off. It's a good movie. Anything with Nicolas Cage, he's a great actor in my opinion.
That movie with him and the bees is fabulous.
I haven't seen that one. What's it called?
Wicker Man.
Yeah, I haven't seen Wicker Man.
Yeah, he punches a woman in the face. You'd love it.
That's what. Oh, yeah, of course. Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. All right, guys. We'll do it again later this week. Mr. President, you check him out on kick.com. I know you do wrestling shows there, and actionshowstudios.com where you can find more of the president's work. Propagandafight.com. We'll talk to you next time. Check out the comment on screen there, Mr. President. You see that?
I can't.
Yeah, well.
Wigger Man.
Have a fantastic rest of your day.